I've been working with PowerPoint for a long time. When I started, there was limited access to the internet. Slides were converted to 35mm film, and academic presentations were almost exactly as good as they are today. I attribute this stagnation primarily to the theoretical vacuum in which presentations exist. Without a meaningful framework, presentations lack any real measure of quality or mechanism for improvement. Academic presentations are now, as they've always been, without form. So if we're talking about literary form, we'd talk about things like style, syntax, and grammar. For painting, it would be line, color, and composition. Film form addresses elements like lighting, camera position, and actor choices. Discussions on form don't just address individual elements, but rather explore the relationships formed in the interactions between these elements. Free of form, presentations are guided almost entirely by instinct, making the work extremely susceptible to institutional, social, and technological influence. An example of institutional influence would be putting our logo on every slide. If we were told that from now on every article we publish were to have a logo before and after each paragraph, well, apart from how weird that would seem, we could argue that doing this would be inconsistent with good essay form, yet with presentations we fail to even notice the equivalence. Social influence can be seen in the practice of including explicit learning objectives at the beginning of a presentation. It's proposed that this helps orient learners, but it completely disregards the value of interpretation, the value of suspense, and expectation. Possibly worst of all, the technological influence often puts PowerPoint in charge of the formatting. PowerPoint does not understand your content, presentation form, or how to engage an audience, even if it claims to have the greatest enthusiasm and confidence in the presentation. This combination of influence and ambiguity has created a highly problematic, kind of de facto conceptual basis for modern presentations. What ends up happening is that content and media exist entirely in service to the presenter, who performs meaning-making in front of the audience. So audiences aren't intended to engage with the materials, aren't intended to be active participants, and become, as Steven Pinker describes it in his critique of academic writing, it's in this context that bullet lists actually make sense, as the words aren't intended to help the audience interact with the content. There's no need for the formal considerations of language. In fact, the opposite can seem true. The more impenetrable the slides are, the greater the appearance of faculty by the presenter. But really, the worst part of this conceptual framework is the extraordinary isolation it causes. It means that each presentation is only as engaging as that speaker is entertaining. With audiences unable to engage with visuals and unwelcome in meaning-making, the only things left to hold their attention are personal charm and the spectacle of acumen. What it also isolates presentations from is about a century's worth of knowledge on how communicating with words and pictures works. From cognitive psychology to modern art and design to literature and film, the most basic premise in all of these domains is that the audience must be active in meaning-making. For presentations to advance at all, we have to abandon this framework in favor of this one. As presenters, everything we say, everything we do, and everything we show must be for the single purpose of helping audience make meaning. I say this because cognitive psychology says this. Because film theory says this. Because art theory says this. And it goes on, the same notion is central to literary theory, graphic design, semiotics, and music. The script, text, images, and the information contained therein constitute the material elements of the presentation form. Presentations are a series of interactions between text and image, between spoken and written language, between content and representation, between audience and content. A choice is as strong as it is helpful to an audience in making meaning. On a practical level, this means we turn off all of PowerPoint's automation, that we always start with a blank bullet list slide with snap to grid turned off. It means the words on our slide must be governed by syntax, grammar, and style. It means any images or diagrams we use must be clearly visible and interpretable by the audience. It means that our slides must be free of lists and logos, and that the organization of our content must be based on our best efforts to help audiences engage with that content. And what it hopefully means is that 16 years from now, no one will be able to say academic presentations haven't really gotten any better, because hopefully where they are, They don't need bullets. If you like this video and you want to see more, please hit like and feel free to subscribe.